Yeah, there's certain classes you can't live without.
What's that mean when it says Mangler XP progression? It just
Okay, Mangler XP progression is the same thing as it means the same experience level as Agnar or Mangler. And welcome aboard, everybody out there. We're doing a podcast tonight. It's 8 p.m. and it is Thursday night, April 30th, last day of April. We want to come to you and do a podcast. I usually do one of these each year so I can get feedback from the audience out there. And also, we want to talk about what we're going to play and what our experiences have been and what we think they hope they will be going forward. Let me go ahead and shrink this taskbar here. Hide the taskbar for a moment, guys, here. How do you hide the darn taskbar?
Right click it. There's an auto hide feature in the properties.
Oh gosh. That's okay. Yeah. Not mine. Anyway, guys, welcome aboard out there. So the two new servers are going to be coming out on May 27, 2020. Rizlona and Aradune. And you know, this is a big rip in the paper between them. But that shouldn't fool you there, because these servers are going to be kind of more alike than you think. There's only going to be one real difference, I think. It's the amount of boxes you can have. Now, keep in mind, things can change. Because just a couple days ago, I was thinking of doing this. And, you know, we talked about it and we figured we'd wait till tonight because there were some changes. Originally, these servers, if I scroll down and show you guys there, these servers down here were locked at planes of power. So they're basically clones of Agnar, or another word for them is our prison servers. And this is what they had back then. And then now they took that away. And another thing is this Rizlona used to be a true box server, but then they got rid of all this here. And now it's not a true box server. It is a free-for-all server. And I think about Ragefire. So this has changed so fast. And the Dark Paw has really listened to the audience out there, the players, because players really complained a lot. They were saying, you know, couldn't you come up with something better than this? You know, this is a big cash grab. And I know, you know, it could be a lot of things, but I want to hear what you guys out there in the audience are thinking, because I have my ideas. I have our teammates on board, and I'm going to ask them some questions and share some experiences. But my initial thoughts on this are, what they've done is they've taken Mangler, they've cloned Mangler, and they've just said, well, we're going to have a full-time GM. I don't know how that's going to work, really. And I don't think it's going to stop the Paul Guild. You all know who he is. If you've been on Mangler, he owned all the Hill Giants and there's other box armies out there that own everything. I don't know if that's going to make a difference, or they're going to be even able to stop the guy, because he has like 30 different PCs that he can run it on. He must own a data center or something like that. Anyway, so let's talk about it. Let's get into this here. Aradune, yeah, I guess this server here, you can only box 2 different accounts per IP address. So that's kind of strange that you got one PC and you can only box 2. What they should have done, in my opinion, is just said, forget the 2 box thing. Let's make Rizlona a free-for-all server, and let's make Aradune a true box. But then we got another problem. The other problem is that when you go down here, these things are basically the same thing as Mangler, you know, the exact same thing. And before, when they were pop locked, there were no threat to Mangler. But now it's like they're going to siphon all the people off Mangler. And this happened with Agnar when it was getting near the end. They all came to Cornav. You kind of know it's the typical lifestyle, the life cycle of a TLP server. So let's read about it. After discussing with the team, we wanted to announce a change in upcoming progression servers and also make something a little clearer due to the feedback we've received. There you go. Feedback we've received. Finally, they're listening, which is good. Just like last year with Celos and what we called Mango Flop at the same time. And they changed Mango Flop. I used to call it the Mango Flop. And quickly, a couple days later, they changed it to what it is today, the best TLP server they've ever made. And they changed it to the best TLP ever made. So they are listening out there, guys. And they may or may not watch this, but your feedback will be appreciated. You leave your feedback here and I respond to it, maybe they'll watch it, because there's something else up here. There's something, they had a focus group. And in the focus group, you can see how they're really, really lost. They have no idea. They're just talking about, oh, we want to stop box teams, insert Paul Guild. We want to stop the Paul Guild. We want to stop the people that own the Hill Giants and all that. And that's what they're talking about here. A company likes the bot. They're talking about bots. There's nothing really in here that Holly starts off with before she left that says anything about, well, how can we make this server unique? How can we make it something new? All they talk about is bots. Here's bots, RMT, hacking. That's what they want. Okay, so it's good to get rid of those, but there's no mention of anything. There's no mention, well, they did mention there will be no front of eye rules, loot rule set. That's a no-no. Not going to even go there, not going to talk about it. They have their reasons, and there's not going to be any PvP, so people will be sad about that. They will be stuck on their PvP server, and there'll be no transfers. All this good stuff is basically the same thing. I don't know why they didn't say, hey, we're going to start in Kunark, because Kunark would have been a really, really good place to start. It would spread out the population, and monks could start with tails. They wouldn't be like the other way, we got to start as humans. Anyway, so the second point is the dedicated GM status of these two servers is an experiment. That's right. We hope that it will prove to be viable, but it does have a time limit associated with it. We're targeting at least 6 months post server launch, after which we will review the status. I don't think they're going to be able to keep this going, because, you know, 24-hour GM, who's it going to be, you know? And how are they going to pay the guy? It's just crazy. I just don't think that's going to happen. And we'll see. Anyway, that was their update, and this is what they're going to do. They're going to take off the lock on it. This is smart. I think that. And welcome aboard, Jonathan Trailer. I saw you up there. Thanks for being the first one in the live stream, in the podcast. So here we go. Here's what you want to know about it. Dedicated GM. Now, what you didn't see is before, when they had this written up, the two things they focus on is, you will be banned, and we will give you a warning, and then we're going to give you a written warning, and then we're going to slap you on the hand, and then we're going to deball your character and all that. And they had stuff like that, but no more of that. Now it's just, oh, here it is. Actually, it is here. 7-day suspension, a written warning from a GM. 7-day suspension, third offense, ban of all Aradune associated accounts. Wow. Okay, this never stops them at all. Yeah, I would be really surprised if they do get rid of the Paul Guild and his other things. I would be really surprised, but if they do, maybe it will be good. Maybe. Anyway, Rizlona, it used to say basically the same thing as this down there, but now it's free for all. Welcome back, Ragefire. So you guys have played on Ragefire, you know, you can tell me what it's like. I haven't been over there. I knew one guy that played with us that played on Ragefire. He actually liked it a lot, even though he wasn't a box player. He said it was pretty good. And anyway, for you guys that played on it, go ahead and let us know. So anyway, so that's basically it. There's not much at all. It's just free for all and Mangler XP progression, same thing. So what this means, every 3 months a new X pack opens, and I can tell you that. Finally, I just want to point out a couple things. I think that Dragon here looks cooler than the guy in green here. They should have given him shiny armor. Would have been nicer, in my opinion. But nevertheless, Rizlona, I don't know. I got people here that usually play with us. Here's my thinking. I'm going to throw it out here, and I'm going to turn it over to people in the chat with me and on the Discord channel here. I think that all the box teams are actually, this is funny, I think they're going to go to Aradune. Because here's why. What happens, and I had a little experience on Celos, is the box armies all go to the place where there's a non-box players, because the non-box players can't get a lot of loot, and they want to get the Ifriti boots and whatever, and they want to get this and they want to get that. If they're on a box server, a non-box player may learn to box a 2-box or a 3-box or whatever, and then he can go and carry the camp himself, and he can get a couple friends together, and they can pull up a pick zone, and they can do it all by themselves. They don't need to succumb to the box player out there. So I think what's going to happen is Rizlona is going to have fewer nasty box teams than Aradune. They will figure out a way to get past Aradune, and they will do it. So I think this is going to be the Aradune will be the more toxic server. Originally, it was the other way around, where Rizlona was a true box, but I think that Aradune will be the more toxic server, and Rizlona will be kind of real quiet, like Celos. You have your box team out there, and they'll do that. But you figure after a while, when the Paul Guild's out there and he's getting his all his Afridi boots, and everybody else getting Afridi boots, what's the point? Who's he going to sell their Afridi boots to? So I think this may be the better, less toxic server, Rizlona. And I don't know. I'm not gonna. I wouldn't box it with MQ or anything like that, but I'm just trying to think. So, guys out there and guys in the Discord, what server do you think? Which server do you like more?
I started liking this more because it wasn't driven by Chronos and everything else. You actually got to play. People interacted more lovingly than get out of my zone. It's some place that you could make friends and you could do things, and you weren't stepping on everybody's toes and they weren't stepping on yours.
So you felt Rizlona was better, but that was before the change, right?
Well, an economy that's fueled by Chronos is going to be influenced by real world money, and people that can't afford to, can't put the time in to get their characters up are going to sit there and buy their gear, and it's just going to be nothing but a beauty contest up in the guild lobby or whatever. They're going to run all day and do nothing.
I like it. Musicals always says funny stuff. Like, I'm gonna portrait of the fear plane. So what do you think now that it's changed, where you're leaning?
Well, I like the fact they've opened them up, but man, every time we get a new server, I'd like to see rehashed old zones, where make that initial level 60 levels. Right now, everybody just blows through and don't even look back. And then the next thing you know, they're 85s and they don't look back. And then you're 110 and you don't look back. And where is the fun in just insta popping out 110s?
Yeah, absolutely. I hear it. Yeah. So what do you think they should do in terms of these new TLPs? What do you think?
I think they ought to make something unique to them that no other server has, like a new race. Introduce a new race and new starting zones, or even old starting zones with new races. People who suddenly bore themselves out of the earth weren't there before, but you can only play them on these special servers. It'll bring a lot of people in, and new players too. That's the whole idea. Is if you don't influx with new players, the game dies.
Well said, musicals, and welcome aboard Diamond Games, who is with me back on Agnar. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, musicals, I think you should be their marketing director, because they've never even come up with that idea, and that would be cool. Like, make a new race and only playable on TLP servers. That would be golden. I really think so. Anything else that you'd want to put? Now, Diamond Games says take all the money they make from them and give it to Pantheon. There's another thing I want to mention real quick. Where in the heck is Pantheon? My God, it's been a long time. I mean, they better hurry up and get the game out. I'm gonna be dying if it doesn't. It's like, this just goes to show, Diamond Games, no Pantheon, and this is what we get. We get the guy in the green suit and the little dragon, cute dragon over there, and that's it. And it's a cookie cutter. It's a cut and paste of Mangler. It's basically that. I mean, if Pantheon was out there, you betcha you'd see a free to play free trade server. I mean, they'd be like, bam, free trade server coming up tomorrow. But you better send them a letter, Diamond Games, say hurry up with that Pantheon. Okay, back to you, musicals. You were saying?
Oh, we got to start converting some of the P99 people back to us. We have to convert some of the WoW people over to here. People that know what they love, listen to what they say, and set up a new server that's catering to them. I mean, you don't have to sit there and give them high level gear to start with. No, that's the fun part's earning the gear. I mean, you got to go out, camp 2 weeks, you finally get the gear. It's not like you go out, camp for 2 weeks, and some guy with a box army comes along and steals your job and takes your gear. I mean, that's no fun.
Wow, well said. Now, what kind of race would you like to see? Go ahead, Mark.
I just have a quick question. I've never actually played on a real TLP server. Uh, is the tutorial enabled?
No.
See, that to me, that's awesome, because starting over and having to level your character from level 1, from the very bottom up, that's where I had the most.
You're going to have fun when we get over there. I'm going to tell you what's the suckiest part of a new server. The new Freeport. Oh my gosh, we got to sit through it every time. Why can't they put the old Freeport back? It's just like, please, the new one is, it's just really bad. You got to start with the new Freeport, but everything else is just like it was, except you get parcels and some of the quality of life things. But yeah, I mean, if they had the old Freeport, that would have been so cool.
Yeah, I knew the old Freeport like the back of my hand. I kept running human characters against the, oh, don't run a human character. Nobody will ever pick you for a group. I'm a rebel. But I remember being able to go around, do things. I knew where to go. And now it's like I get in a Freeport. It's, I hit the gate post and go to okay. It's easier to find my way there.
Yep, me too. I always avoid Freeport, and they got to put darn signs in there to tell people where to go. That shows you how bad it is. Flop a doodle doo. Somebody told them back then, oh, you need a new Freeport. Let's go fix it up. And also, you need a new South Row, and you got to fix this and you got to fix that. Whoever that consultant was, well, they fired him, but not before he did some major damage to EverQuest. One nice thing about P99, I got to tell you guys, it uses the old Freeport and all the old zones, so it has that same charm and flavor to it. But the new one doesn't. But nevertheless, to answer your question, Mark, you get to start at level 1. Now here's the thing: if we can get in on the first day of the server, we'll be able to capture everything the way it is. And this only happened to me one time without glitches, and that was with Agnar. That was probably one of the best starts I got. I got lucky. I was in on the first 15 minutes. But Cornav took me a little longer, and there's some problems. And Mango Flop, I never got in on that. Same with Celos. By the time I got in on the second day, there were people already level 30 running around. But if you get in on the first day, it is a once in a lifetime experience, and it will feel almost exactly like what you had in 1999. Let me take a question out there. Notorious G. His birthday is in 45 minutes. I play in front of Vice server. I've been watching your raids. I hope I'm enjoying you guys. Solo timer Necro. All right, go Necro. Happy birthday to you. They say they lost the files and codes. Diamond Games. That's hilarious. Wouldn't it be funny if they gave it to Pantheon, and then Pantheon says, hey, look at your new Freeport Freeport area. But anyway, so those are good insights there. Yeah, so it's going to be good. One thing about the classic era, I got to say, and I've always been saying it, is that it is a time when the game came out and it was a sandbox thing. You do what you want, when you want, where you want, how you want. Almost any class can solo out there, except for rogues, I think. Everybody can solo. You can get shamans as healers and you're fine. You don't have linear progression or forced progression, I like to call it. You guys know what I'm talking about TOV. You get to do what you want. You want to start in Kinos, you can start in Kinos and you can go there and it's fun. You'll make different friends over there. You want to start in Freydark, you'll make totally different friends. And in the early game, those areas are really isolated. So it's kind of like, it's not so globalized like the new game, the modern game is, where everybody is everybody and everybody can go everywhere. You have a lot of differences, and it's a lot of fun seeing somebody from a different side of the world come over to you. So it's going to have all that same charm. You're going to meet a lot of incredible people out there, and it's going to be fun. There will be differences, like everybody knows what to do, where to do it, and how to do it. That's going to be different. But I still think this is the closest thing we could get to recapturing the early game. Plus, with all the quality of life and the better experience rate, this will make it a lot better. And it'll be kind of cool. I mean, if they nerf the experience, that'd still be good. I'd be cool with that. A couple things that will happen is Nagy will probably be killed on the 4th day, maybe, with this server, depending on how the stability is in the beginning. It'll probably be killed by then. All the gods will be killed day 5 guaranteed. But this time they've got 2 servers, so it's going to be interesting to see where things go with it. Let me open up the Discord, and on the Discord here, you guys have any other thoughts, or what classes would you like to play? Let's talk about classes. Okay, so anybody in Discord, my Discord channel, talk about what classes you like.
Well, this time around, I think I'm going to do a wizard. And TLP is always good to start a character I never played before.
Sweet. Okay, that's a smart move. Anybody else?
I was thinking about trade skills, and if you're going to do trade skills, the your best bet's actually a gnome. That way you can do tinkering all.
Yep.
Now, if you had a gnome shaman, you'd be in there. You'd get them all, right?
Gosh, if they made
That
gnome
would be
shamans.
amazing.
Oh my gosh, think about it. If they made gnome shamans, just think about that. How many people would want to play on this server? People would go nuts. Or if they let you play berserkers in the beginning. Okay, I'll let back to you guys.
I'd like to see an avatar class. You get the regular class, like your warrior or your ranger, but then you're able to specialize in another skill than another class. Like I was jokingly talking last night about a paladin berserker. Well, he's good with that. What if he can go berserk against you? And I mean, he does slaying it, but head chop, that would be nice.
That's funny.
That'd be tricky to balance all that.
Gosh, that would be cool. Just make it one class: berserker, paladin, cleric, and ranger. Headshot, decapitate, and also put some rogue bills in it. There you go, musicals. Yeah, that would be cool. Well, that.
I mean,
Go ahead.
they introduced the A system, what made you be all you could be, and joining the army. And I think that's how they should do the multi-classing abilities. You know, you're getting AA, but grinding is no fun either. So, but you know, they took away the group playability. My humans stand out there looking for group. Oh, you human, you're not. You know, when you go grow, you're better. And you know, it's like there's kind of it went away as soon as they started allowing you to do better things with AAs, and I think AAs are the way to go to make you better.
Way to go. Anybody else? How about Kaz? What are you thinking about playing?
I'm thinking about playing a monk. I never played that before. And if you want to do a fresh start, then do it with something you never done before. I'd like to really learn how to play it and play.
Okay, let's talk about then. That leads us to the most OP'd classes in Classic. Let me talk about this after doing a couple of these TLPs. I can tell you who's going to be at the top of the charts in terms of DPS. Early game, it's going to be hands down El Monk. The Monk, well, let's leave the Enchanter out because that's the strongest one in Classic all the way through. But the Monk's going to be the best and strongest melee class. Doesn't need anything by level 30. He's going to turn it out to be a blender, a Cuisinart. And you put him with a shaman, and oh my gosh, those two can they can pretty much own the whole place. Really, I've seen it. It's just funny. You know, all the other classes need to get gear. Like this, say Shadow Knight's kind of nice, but you're not gonna be any good until you get that the sword that's from Lower Guck. I forgot what it is. Dark Reaper. I forgot what it is, but there's one.
Is it the Ghoulbane, I think?
No, Dark Reaver. That's what it is for the Shadow Knight. You don't. That's the first best weapon you get. And let's not even talk about rogues. They don't get. They get nothing in the whole classic. They get just garbage. So rogues are like, they're gimp. But the monk shaman thing, back in Agnar, I did a video on the monk shaman combo. It was really, really good. I was really shocked at how good it was. People had said, "Hey, do one on the monk shaman." And yeah, we took it through Blackborough and with one other character, and it just, you know, you can tank stuff, you know, in Classic. You know how forgiving Classic is. Monk can tank. It's going to be the best DPS, best puller. It can tank stuff, which is hilarious. You know, it's going to be really great when you get to the fear plane. You're going to be able to break the place with the monk and all that. It's going to be great. Plus, you played as Shadow Knight. You already know how to pull, and you know how to feign death and everything. So I think that's going to be a great option. If you're going to do another character, make sure you make the shaman for sure. It's the best one to go with that.
always loved bards. When I first made a bard, they got rescued by a bard. They fell off one of the ship going to Free-on-a-V in the middle of the night. I didn't know where I was, and some bard came along, grouped with me, and suddenly levitating and so fast everything's a blur. At that point, I was converted. I was simply a bard, and that's why I invented Musicles.
But you could be a bard again, and Notorious G is going to go with a Pally and Vanilla fighting out. Yeah, you know what? Pally will be good. Notorious G, you can, depending on what kind of Pally you are, you can really own Unrest, and that'll give you a really good jump up, and then you get to lower Guck. Pally would be pretty good, I think. In Classic, it's okay if you're looking at DPS, but for helping the group, I think it's going to be great. But Musical, you're going to go with a bard?
Well, I'm just saying I liked Bard. My first character was a Pally, and I took him up, and once I hit Kerner, that's where I lost the ability to get groups, because back then it was, you have to be a gnome wizard, you have to be an ogre warrior, you have to be a wood elf ranger, and if you weren't any of the particular blends that they wanted, you weren't invited in. I mean, I sat there, 53 Pally LFG, 38 warrior LFG, warrior to the right courtyard.
But were you like a wood elf ranger? Cute wood elf ranger? You would get groups all the time.
No, never. Just because you had, no, but I was human paladin, human bard, and I was told by people, you can't make humans and do anything with them, but I did.
Oh gosh. Well, let's talk about humans and advantage they have. I'm gonna let you guys know about a big secret that we figured out. Later on, we figured out, okay, the humans, they have given them an advantage, but they haven't talked about it or told anybody what it is. What it is they get the numero uno best starting area in the game. And here's why. They've got the run that goes from Freeport all the way to South Row, and then later on you get into Lower Guck. Why is it so good? Because they have the orc camp at South Row, near where the old Oasis is. The orcs are on a 1-minute spawn timer, we figured out. And that was just amazing. We did a practice run through that, and it turned out to be just bonkers. And then, of course, the crocodiles, you can start hitting them up. If you want to skip the orcs, you just hit the crocodiles up at, with a group, you can hit them at level 7. So you can do crocodiles, and then you get up to like level 15, 16, and then you can, there you go, you're ready. You just jump right into Upper Guck and then work your way to Lower Guck. It's a real linear move, but that is the fastest way. Welcome aboard out there. Tone NC, which expansion has time lock servers die usually? I can tell you about that. They kind of stopped being active. Notorious G, you're blind at night, absolutely. And okay, Sean Shepard, welcome back. I remember Sean Shepard, who's with us on Celis. He's going to be on Aradune. Tony NC, the time it dies out is really easy. It dies out after Planes of Power, most notably Gates of Discord. That's a death knell for it, and I can tell you why that happens. But let's talk about why does it die out after Planes of Power? Because like I've always said, Planes of Power was probably the best expansion ever. And when you ask me what's my favorite raid, it's Plane of Time. There's none that are even close. Nowadays they make raids, and some raids are just stupid compared to Plane of Time. If you want to know, watch that Plane of Time video I have. They really overdid themselves back then. You could fight all the gods, and it was a big raid. It wasn't just like, oh, you know, you got to play Simon Says. Oh, you got to do this. You got to do trade skills. Oh, you got to, you know, one guy stand here and click, and this other guy click there, and other guys pick his nose. It wasn't anything like that. You know, that's what raids are like nowadays. They're like, balance this guy to 1% of this guy, and then at the same time kill this monster while you're feigned death. And, you know, it's not like that at all. Back then, it was just straight up mano a mano. You're going in and you're fighting Kazakh. You're fighting, you know, the Zek brothers. You're fighting all the gods and stuff. It was just great. Playing the time was good. So not only was that good, but the group level stuff was good too. It was really, really good.
So that was a great time. I was really getting into the game when that first came out, and that was a great expansion. That was a lot.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know, we've done raid progression. We've brought it all the way from the early days up to now. And I got to say that, you know, okay, if Plane of Time is like a 10, all the other stuff is like a 3. I'm gonna tell you guys it's reality. Everything else feels like a 3. You know, sometimes a 3.5. But Plane of Time was like a 10. That was just like, well, what were they doing? It was so good. And then whoever came in after that was going to be a flop. And there you go. You got Eldon. That's about 2 weeks worth. That's a flop. Okay. And then you got LOY, Legacy Cash. Okay, that was all right. And then you got the big pooper out of all of them, Gates of Discord. Oh my gosh, why that? Who made that? They should have been fired, and they probably were, because it was way too hard. It was catering to the hardcore crowd out there, the big guilds. When I was in Celis and we got to Gates of Discord, it's like, well, what can you do? You can only raid in there. You can do some stuff. You can't really trade anything. There's nothing, no good loot or anything like that. So we kind of lost a lot of interest. But yeah, there's some good loot in there, and there still is, but it wasn't that good at all. So let's see back here. Yeah, it lost a lot of traction, Tony and C. I can't see anything on the Discord. Oh, sorry, Sean. We had to clean house. We'll get you later. Let's see. And Sigfi guy, is this official EQ or P9N? If P9N, I'll keep watching. Okay, Sigfi guy, it's not P99. It's for the EQ. So official EQ. And go ahead, Kaz. You were saying.
No, I was just saying that was a great expansion. They did a lot of work on that. I was even at that fanfare before it came out and they announced it there. That was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of people there. And then once we started playing the game and getting past those flags and all that, that's a lot of fun too. I think that's still in there in the TLPs, right? You have to be flagged to get certain areas.
Yep, you sure do. You got to get flagging in Planes of Power. Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember before when you used to be able to buy bronze armor and it was 1 plat per AC and sometimes more than that for the breastplates. And this was before this Defiant armor came out, which took a guy to like 10,000 hits back when, at level 30, where I didn't ever get that to level 60. And that kind of over twinked the game and took out some of the fun. Then Velius, that was one of my favorite expansions, the original Velius, not the new one. But I there on my bard. I got to level 60 in Belk's lab. I had so much fun in there. I speak 4 languages, so I would go in there and I'd group with some of the European at night, and they'd try their broken English on me and turn and find out a language I hadn't come, and we'd have all kinds of fun. And you play up night whatever you wanted. Now you can't find groups like you used to.
Well, on the TLP server, you will check your mic is cracking up a little, musicals. But I'll tell you what's nice about these TLP servers. There will be a lot of people on them, and even at night, musicals. Since you speak French also, you'll be able to get the Eurozone crowd. They'll be on there, and there's like Euro raid guilds. So you're going to get to run into a lot of them, and you'll get to group with them. It's going to be that way early on. There's no discrimination. Everybody groups with everybody, I notice, unless it's like big guilds where they have preset teams.
Now, I have a question. When did the epics first come out? Because I remember the Paladin, it started with that one, because that one was kind of already there in the beginning.
Yeah, we had Soulfire, and that wasn't truly an epic, but it was a half of an epic, and then everybody complained because we were running around with flaming swords and they weren't.
Right.
I think epics came out in Kunark.
Okay. I was
1.0.
trying to remember when that happened, when every class got.
I'm thinking like around 2001, 2002.
Yeah, keep talking, guys. I just had to shut the door. So yeah,
You get noisy neighbors, huh?
yeah, they're getting excited. They're probably spying on the live stream, getting all excited about this. But yeah, so epics will be coming around. I think it's Kunark. We start with the epics, Epic 1.0. I think it is. But people start on them earlier. They start getting all the stuff together because the drops are hard. Some of them, for example, in the fear plane are tough to get, but we have pick zones. One thing we'll have is pick zones. If you guys don't know, pick zones allow you to play a copy of the zone. This helps in balancing the load. So for example, If you're back in the day in 1999, there's only one zone of lower Guck, and I remember back in the day, I'd get in there, there'd be 100 people that'd be crashing every single night. But what happens on these TLP servers, you go into the pick zone, and if there's enough people in the zone, it'll open up another copy, like pick 2, pick 3, whatever, and you can jump into the pick zone, jump your whole group in there, and move over into another camp. And I think that's really, really one of the nice things about it. Everybody gets to experience this. Of course, you do have guys called pick zone hoppers, and they'll be out there trying to steal your camp. But nevertheless, it does open up a lot of opportunities to play, and it takes a load off. I mean, you can imagine how much fun it can be being able to do the camp you want to do, when you want to. If you bring enough people, we'll have enough people just in our small group to probably pop a pick zone in some places. And actually, Notorious G out there, I want to comment on what he said. He said Enchanter was so group dependent. I'll tell you what, the Enchanter, I mean, when I go back there as an Enchanter, the Enchanter's, let's talk about this real quick. The strongest class, the most OP'd class out there, unless they break Charm, unless they nerf that, is the Enchanter, because the Charm spells you get are so strong back there. You can solo with the Enchanter right there and kill all sorts of stuff. And compared to the high level game, which is a game of speed and it's a game on steroids, the low level game is so forgiving. So I just feel like I'm invulnerable when I play an Enchanter. Just go there and you do some nutty things. I remember at level 36, we came in 3 enchanters and a druid. We charmed a bunch of stuff in catch keeping. We killed Estrella, who was level 51. It was just hilarious. So, and I see Corbin out there. Corbin was with us back then. Welcome back, Corbin. And he was part of that group back on Cornav. We killed Estrella, and we just kept killing Estrella. Every time she'd pop every day, and we're just owning that place until people got sick of watching Kedge Keep and Cornav. And let's answer a couple ones. Tony NC says, what happens to TLP servers that die out? They just die out and they get, everybody quits, and then they go to the next TLP servers. They do have a bunch of them. And then quick overview on the specs of new server I've already done it, but don't worry about it. I'll Google it. Michael Roop, welcome aboard. Yeah, Michael Roop is just the trick is you just charm the stuff with Enchanter, you kill it. Diamond Games was back with us on Agnar, and he played Enchanter. He's a good Enchanter, and he can attest to how OP'd they are. Yeah, and they merged a couple of the old TLP servers, and that's what they should do. Yeah, just put them all into one. Okay, back to the Discord here. I answered the guys out there. So, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, and then we'll keep going. Wizzy's gonna be a wizard's gonna be Zizzy. Zizzy's gonna play wizard. That's a smart move because with a group we can have the big DPS, we can have the evac. It's going to be super, super big out there. And it'll give us transport, which we're going to need. And then we're going to have a monk. That's going to be Anwar's going to play a monk. And then let's see, I'm going to play the Enchanter again and the Cleric. And here's the reason why. This is what I learned in the past is that when you do these TLP servers, for me to keep the stream going, I have to make the support characters myself. And then we fill in with the people that play the tanks, the DPS, and whatever like that. But the Enchanter is really, really key because you're going to need to have the calm, you're going to have the mez, and you're going to have the haste for sure. And the Cleric, there's no substitute for that. You're going to need the battle res, and you're going to need the res. Reses go for a lot. It can go for 200 plat each time. So you'll definitely need to have those characters. So I'm going to make that. And my other third character, if it played my girlfriend, she might play a wizard. She's played it before, and that was the combo we used on Cornav, and that was pretty good because at level 50 it could do a lot and kill a lot of the big stuff. It could take the camps and whatever, but it's a very, very strong group. If she could play another Enchanter, I would do that, and that would be really good, but that's it takes a lot. Okay, so back to the Discord. Let's see who we have there. How about Shadowon and let's see, Larry's there. Welcome aboard, Larry. What are you guys going to play on the new server? What do you feel like playing?
I haven't really decided. If you want to do trade skills, then something that can track and port's good, which would be a druid.
Okay.
Yeah, on a TLP server, trade skills are about the most expensive thing. You end up selling a kidney for the chrono just to be able to buy some things. But there's not much. And if you're a ranger, fletch. If you're a rogue, do poison making. If you're a shaman, make potions. But to jump to expect to get all the trophies is a little bit ludicrous.
With your trade skills, whoever is doing trade skills is going to make out pretty good if you're online enough. When I was back on Agnar, I met a couple people. One guy, I remember he started at the same level we started around the same time, and he was just doing little trade skill stuff. And he said it was maybe on that Agnar video or somewhere or something where he told me what he did. I'm going to go back and look and see what it was. He said he did this and this and this, and he made so much money early on. And really, by the first day, chronos were going for about, after the first day, they were less than 600 plat. And then he made a lot of money. Then after the whole server was done, he turned out to make so much plat, and of course he made so many chronos. And Agnar was pretty popular back then. I would say it was comparable to what you have with Mangler. It was a Mangler of those days in 2017. So yeah, the trade skill guys, if you know what you're doing, you're gonna do well, for sure. But Shadow One, what are you gonna play? I guess he's not there.
The original Musicles made his money all the way up through black Corellia armor. Back when they'd go fight there for like 3 or 4 hours, they'd make enough to get enough materials to make several pieces of armor, and they were selling like 15K for a breastplate. I was raking it in hand over fist. My paladin, who was my first character, learned how to fletch. That was something that was restricted towards the end, as a wood elf ranger only type of thing. But I'd still make arrows go to the transportation point where Clark boats caught, and I'd sell them on the docks there. In about a half hour, I'd sell out, and I'd go back, get more things, make more components. And my paladin had probably as much 20 million plat at a time, where plat like manna from heaven.
That's right. There we go. Just Milo. There you go. I remember Just Milo from back on Agnar. Welcome back, Just Milo. And Just Milo played a necromancer back then. I remember him back in Unrest. I remember a lot of you guys there remember the names. So Corbin out there played with us, and I think 2 TLPs. Or 1 or something. Yeah, 2 TLPs. He was there in the original 0 hour on Agnar, and he came to Cornav. Corbin, what are you going to play? And Milo, what are you going to play? I'm curious, you guys. Good to see the familiar faces back then. Good to reunite with everybody. It's going to be exciting, guys. Even if it's only classic, or even if it flops, the first era, the classic era, is going to be a wild run. Okay, Milo's going to do the same thing I do. Chanter, Cleric combo. Yep, I got to do that. And Moose Inc., welcome aboard out on YouTube. Yeah, and mages are going to be good. I want to answer somebody else's question out there. Notorious G, he's going to be rogue and a mage. Rogue's got, I hate to say it, Rogue's got the shaft in classic, because there aren't any good weapons for them, so they're going to really underperform. It's not until Kunark do they get better. But the mage is going to be a powerhouse, a real big powerhouse out there. The pets are just really strong. You can see in the beginning you're going to get yellow pets when you spawn them, and they can solo most of the stuff, just tear stuff in half.
Is some of that stuff still locked behind research? Like a few?
Yep, we're going to have somebody doing research, the pet spells and all that. But here's another thing I can tell you guys is what happens is the economy is pretty good. So what I found is that you're better off leveling up and buying the pet spells from other people, because if there's enough people making it, the price goes down pretty far. And for the enchanter, like I'm getting up there. Well, first of all, the spells like you want the AE mez, okay, and then you may want 1 or 2 other spells. But same thing with wizards, there's only going to be a couple they want, and then other stuff you can pretty much skip it.
Yeah, once they things started changing, like you were able to summon your corpse in the guild lobby. Necros lost their biggest job on a raid, which was getting you back up on your feet by rezzing you, by summoning your corpse. And druids never really got, they end up maybe more and better ports, but the wizard could out nuke them any day of the week. And so druids slowly got phased out of the end game. And then, like you said, rogues got nothing at the beginning, and then they were king of the hill. But then the last expansion is anti-rogue. They're certain things don't work. They're traps. Their backstab doesn't work because half the mobs are undead and the other half are giants. Then you got the bears. They're not humanoid either. So
The bears. Musicals. Druid's going to be pretty useful, but one thing that's going to happen with the druid, and I hate to say this, guys, I played one on Agnar, is later on, there's not going to be that many openings for druids. Now, in a group environment like we are, there will, and especially if we do kedge keep, the druid's pretty good over there because it can charm animal. And putting Tosh on the stuff, they can charm the sharks, and the sharks are really nice pets. So I think the druid will be kind of good. And then we can do, it's funny, we're going to do a replay of Cornab, but we can take down Estrella and all the named in kedge keep and just mow that place down. But druids will be useful because there's no plane of knowledge. You're going to make a lot of money for people wanting ports. And musical is such an enterprising businessman. You're going to make a lot of money if you play one, that's for sure.
I'd rather fight than play, to be somebody's support group. I'd rather go out and do things than sit back in an office and collect tariffs.
Collect tariffs, or in your case, go out and get tariffs. What was funny is that people would hang out near Kazakh Thule, and they would they'd hang out there and they'd get sell ports and all that. They'd find these cool places to hang out, and they'd be selling ports. So yeah, the druid can make it, and it's okay. But so musicals, what are you gonna play? I'm really curious.
Well, it's a toss up between a bard and a paladin. Those are my two passions.
Okay.
And I'll do a human just because.
Because you want to be blind at night.
Yes, I don't like seeing things at night. I mean, I remember I got a glowing band once, and it was like, oh my gosh, that was a game changer. I could see with infravision now.
Well, I tell you what, if you're going to be one of them, the bard would be pretty good. I mean, it allow the whole group to have a lot of speed, which is nice. I mean, you know how to play the bard, which is good. So that would be a good one, I think. And Kaz, are you going to play a second character?
Yeah, I probably will. I'm still thinking about it, but maybe a shaman.
Yeah, that'd be the smart move. It's definitely a winner, and I think see somebody else out there is going to do that too. But yeah, the shaman. Wow, that'd be really, 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 really good. So you have a choice then. You can be, here's how it's going to work out. If you become a barbarian shaman, you got to somehow get all the way over to Freeport or wherever we're at. If you're a troll shaman, you can come up that way, which you can do the cannonball run and make it all the way up there and then bind out there. And then you're going to have to be a human monk, obviously, because we're not opening in Cunarg, so you'll have to do that.
Yeah, that's no problem. I've done that run so many times. It's kind of fun actually trying to get all the way across.
It's crazy. The craziest one was on the craziest one I saw was on Agnar in 0 hour. I forgot how long it is, but there was they got an ogre who got all the way from Oguk, made the cannonball run on the first day all the way into Greater Fadark, appeared on the stream. It was so funny. I could not believe it. I forgot what the name was. I named it something, but she was out there in Greater Fadark. It's so funny.
That's quite a haul.
Yeah, check it out. The Agnar 0 hour. You'll see I listed it under there where the ogre came over there. I forgot what the name was, like Shaniqua or Taniqua or whatever. But they got her all the way over there. It's so crazy, that you could make it there. And then at that time, which is even worse, is the boats kept crashing. So getting over the translocator and all that, it was so hard to get across oceans of tear. I don't know how she made it, and then made it past the dwarfs and stuff and got all the way down. It was just crazy, and then it just appears in my stream, and I was like, what the heck?
I always used to like the Kithakor at night run, no matter what level I was.
Oh, that's funny. So you guys,
That was
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that was exciting. That's what would get you woke up better than 2 cups of coffee in the lap. You would like, oh my God, there's a cleric on me. I've been rooted. Oh no!
I've been
But
rooted.
but as a bard, that was horrible. You don't root bards. You don't snare them. That just ruins their whole day.
Oh, that's hilarious. Gosh. One thing I got to tell you guys is the halflings will get an experience bonus. And when we were on Cornav, we had this guy from the UK. Forgot what his name was in the game. Dave Booth was the name on YouTube, but he started up a halfling cleric and a halfling warrior, and later on you can really start to see the difference in leveling. Like early on they're all about the same, but then he started pulling ahead. At first it was just like a little bit. Next thing we know, he's playing about the same as we were on that character, and during that night we go up one level, he'd be up like 1.25, no potions or anything, just same as us. So halflings will have a nice experience bonus. You just have to make the cannonball run out of Kithakor, but if you can survive it and hug the wall all the way out and then make it over to Freeport, you're going to be gold.
Yeah, well, now my bard doesn't care about the wall. He runs down the middle, and a lot of times I hit that inky cabin. It's like, payback.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I don't know if I'm going to be human, because if I'm human, I'm going to start in Freeport. I'll tell you what, guys. I feel that starting in Greater Feydark, I did it twice in a row, and there's a lower experience modifier over there, it seems like, or the mobs are not in the same density, and you got to go through Crushbone, which turns into a death trap. It's really exciting, but you're dying all the time over there. I'm thinking about starting once again in the Freeport area, because that'll allow us to get the monk. It'll allow us to get anybody who's a dark elf out there. Halflings can all get together, and starting out over there and making the Freeport run down to the South Row area. It'll be the easiest, funnest leveling run there. If you start out in Kinos, that gets pretty bad, I think. We noticed that the last time they had a Kinos, that even on Mangler, it wasn't as crowded as other areas. It was kind of weird. Welcome aboard, Judge Parker, out there. Good to see you back.
I want to play a halfling Shadow Knight.
I don't think they have them.
Well, that's the point.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking of a halfling monk.
Shoot, that would be cool. They could do that. Like I cast Illusion Gnome on my Berserkers, and man, the Gnome Berserker looks so cool. It really, really does. P-Craft, welcome aboard. P-Craft out on YouTube is going to play a monk. There you go. We'll see you out there in Freeport. And no monk would be really cool. I should get a monk, and at the high level game you can cast the illusion on them. You can see just what it would look like. I should do a video on it because it looks really cool. The gnome berserker, it looks really, really cool, and I can imagine a gnome monk with all the illusions would be pretty cool. Welcome aboard, Steve Laszlo out there. We're just talking about what you guys are going to play out there in chat. Let us know what you're going to play, where you're going to start, which server you're going to start on. Right now we're still talking about which server we're going to start on. I'm kind of torn between Rizlona and Aradune. Rizlona is now a free-for-all server. It is like Ragefire. Aradune is going to be like Mangler but 2-box. So in other words, it's going to be like a Mangler again. I don't know which one I'm going to lean towards or what. It depends on what everybody in the team wants to do. It depends on which one we can get on the first day also. So Shadowon, are you in the voice there? Is he there?
Yeah,
I can't hear.
I'm just, yeah.
Okay, so Shadowon, what are you going to play this time?
Oh, unless something spurs me to change my mind, I'll probably go with same old, same old.
And what would that be?
Magician.
Okay, that's going to be a powerhouse class for sure. Really, really good. You know how to play it, so that'll be good.
and I don't have to worry about gear as much.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Guys, if you want to make money, there's the thing where I put the videos up there and tutorials how to get rich on a TLP server. A lot of people are going to be doing that. That'll be a way to get some money right away. And that's it, right? Just Milo. And Michael Roop's going to play an erudite mage. Um, I think it looks like it. Party of mages. Yeah, we thought about that too. Mages are going to be a real powerhouse out there. They really, really are. The pet's just really awesome, can tank all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, the one thing about Mage is he's right. You don't need a lot of gear. I learned early not to run underneath the Mage that was floating and look up, because then it was like, oh my God, how do I unsee that?
That's funny. Yeah. Ian Fancher, he's going to be a Necro. Also, one thing about Necros are very strong in the early game too. They can also solo. Um, they're going to be good, really good with the dots and all that. We had people playing that. Go ahead, Yaz.
Yeah, I remember the Necros and the Druids were the best soloers. My wife played a Druid, and she could do like 8 mobs at a time and do it all night long, all by.
Wow,
Oh yeah,
seriously?
Oh yeah, just like a bard, she'd kite them around and just annihilate.
Wow. Yeah, you can do that, South Carolina for sure.
Well,
yes.
the druid, once you get high enough, you get a AE snare. So then you have an AE snare, then you have your AE lightning, and you just snare and lightning, and run low on mana. You sit down and snare and lightning, and yeah, you can kill 4 or 5 at a time.
Whoa, that's gonna be awesome.
Back in 2001, when I first started playing, my girlfriend made a druid. That's what she had, and she power leveled my cleric and everybody else that would come along. And it was just awesome.
Wow.
Oh yeah, my Bard used to get lots of groups. I mean, the moment I'd log in, I get details. Hey, come join us here. Hey, come join us there. Everybody wanted to go down to Seb, and it's like, that's not the most Bard-friendly zone. But I'd end up with a group of Necros or a group of Wizards or a group of Mages. And, okay, what do you want me to do? Fight, pull, crowd control, what? Mana Song! Mana Song! That's all they wanted. It's like, geez. That was back before Melody was out. So you had to really twist, push to 1, push to 2, push to 5, push to 6. You had to sit there and switch your songs out manually, count to 6 in your head, and you get to the point where you were like a chronometer, able to tell exactly when to push. And if you dropped a note, you had to recover by going back to that one. And hopefully, when you missed the song, it wasn't the Mana Song, because you'd hear about that all night long.
Get back here, get my Mana Song on. Oh, that's funny, guys. I want to ask all the audience people on that in the Discord what they would have liked to seen instead of the cookie cutter formula that we do see now with the big rip in the middle here. I'll tell you, I'm going to offer what I think as a starter would have been nice to see and why. First thing I would have liked to see that they could do that's not out of their reach or anything like that. It's not like making Wood Elf Berserkers or anything, but I would have liked to seen them start it in Kunark, I think, because here's why is they gotta spread out the population, because what's going to happen early game, it's going to be everybody's going to be packed into the same areas. And I can't understand why they're doing that unless it has to do with they want to make the change race potion cost. They want to make the money off that or something. Maybe that's what it is, because everybody's going to switch their monks to Ixars when the time comes. But I think it would have been nice if they opened up Kunark, and that's a starting area, because I saw what happened on Celis when they opened it at Luckland. That was really cool, and it did a lot of things. And let me talk a little bit about what changed on Celos that made it really, really neat. What's really neat on Celos is that when they opened up at that level, it really cut down on amount of box teams, amount of chrono farmers, and all that, because everything went into hyper mode, hyper speed mode, and then each month you're opening a new expansion pack. So the guys that were going to camp the Fruity Boots, hey, they were out of business. There's already going to be better stuff out there, and nobody cared anymore. And then when we got all the way to the Shoe Factory, which is Split Paw in the Plains of Power era, they had stuff that was even better than that, and that stuff was selling for only like a few thousand plat. It just was so deflationary in terms of price. But that was really good, and it really discouraged a lot of the chrono farmers and bot farmers. In fact, for a long time, we had negative declining prices in chronos. They were actually going down, and it wasn't like what you got on Mangler, where the server is owned by the chrono farmers, but they made it a fast server like that. And what was really cool about it is that was great for everybody. You could buy gear that you couldn't get normally. People would just put it up for sale. So I think that if they opened it up, it'd spread people out, which would be a lot of fun. There'd be less server congestion, probably less customer service that they need to do, and a lot more options for people as to where to go, what to do, and how to play. I think that'd be good, because what's going to happen in the classic era is going to get really, really crowded. But that can be good too, because there's more socialization and stuff. Welcome aboard, Jay Wonder. He says, might not be a bad idea to have 1 month unlocks for the first couple expansions. Absolutely. See, these are good ideas. Now, so let me ask the audience out there, since we have enough viewers, what do you guys think they should have done to make this better? Now, I know Fronavi loot rules will be high on my list. I think that's definitely one, but they said they're not going to do it, so I'll leave that for something else. But what do you guys think they should have done? I mean, this phony GM enforcement thing, I don't believe that for a bit. So because they're never going to stop the Paul Guild. They never have, and they never will. But audience out there, what do you think? PvP progression server says CI. PvP, okay, they got one vote for PvP. Anything else out there from the chat and from the Discord channel here?
I had an idea, but it kind of fell out of my head when I was looking at it.
That's funny. Go ahead.
Cookies. Can't remember what I was going to say. I'm now eating a cookie, so it took my mind off of it.
That's hilarious. Just waiting for the people out there to see. Okay, Sean Shepard says starting Kunark. Yep, I'm with that. Front of Vi rules, absolutely.
I thought of they had to lock the servers down so there's no transportation in between the areas. Like Fadark would be its own zone, Freeport, and those areas would be their own zone. Kunark would be its own zone, and as time goes on, mysterious portal so you can get between the zones, but you don't start off in the whole world, because like TBL, that's the worst zone because you can't get anywhere. You buy the expansion and you don't have a guild, you're not going to go past the first zone, which you're KOS in anyway. So you make something where you can only play like in Lukeland, or only play in Kunark, only play in Freeport area, and then you unlock the rest of the other areas as time goes on. So now you can go to Fadark, or now you can go to Kunark, or now so basically you discover the rest of the world. You don't know it's there.
Yeah, I think that would be good, some kind of thing like that. I got one thing I want to add to you guys that we've practiced with a lot. We used to do the playthroughs, like free to play all the way, and one thing we did is we did level locks, and this I think is going to would be really big, because a couple of things that were really good with the level locks, and the way level lock works is like this. You go first week level 1 to 10, level 10's the max. Next week level 15's the max. Next week it's the level 20, and so on and so on. What this does, what this will do on a TLP is do a couple things. Number one thing it will do is it will promote starting alts. People get to level 10, they'll start another one and another one and another one. Second thing it'll do is that since you have level locks, everybody's going to be they're going to be together. They're going to be within grouping range all the time. Because one thing we did notice on Miracle, that the deaths, the instant, the server that died before it even started, is that when it was 85 to 90 and everybody had the same gear and the same this and the same that, is it was so good, because the one best thing about Miracle is everybody, and I mean everybody, could group with everybody. they could do that. And even probably when VOA came out, they could still group with each other and do that too, which is really cool. So those are really, really good reasons for having level locks, I think. And I'm, you know, I think that would be really good. You would never be behind anybody at all. And what do you guys think?
Yeah, that's how we were playing the free to play group. You limited where we could level, how high we could level. You limited the number of AAs, etc. Doing that server wide would be an interesting thing. It would be more group forms, you know, more groups would form together than solo guys. I mean, that whole box team wouldn't really work out too well or as well.
Yeah, hang on a second, guys. I think seems like I lost YouTube on one of my things. Go ahead, keep talking. Any ideas you guys have? Yeah, so go ahead.
I still think to save the game, you need a new race and a new starting area, because like when they opened up the kitty cats, that was cool. Everybody wanted to be a kitty cat. Or the frog locks, everybody wanted to be a frog lock. You'd look at the server populations during those times, and they would go way up because people were leveling their tunes and they were grouping and they were having fun. If you don't have fun, you don't want to play.
Yep. And let me add this in terms of fun and my insights on why Classic is so popular and why everybody wants to start on a fresh TLP. And here's what I think Dark Paw Daybreak has just totally missed the boat on. What I see a lot is as we go through our playthroughs and all that and do progression is you got so many different kind of players out there. Some that like the classic era pre-pop, some that like, you know, hardcore stuff, TOVs, I mean, Burning Lands, and you got the people that only want to play certain levels and all that. So there's so many different kind of players out there. But one thing the majority of players like to play, and this I can tell you for a fact, is they like to be more powerful compared to the mobs. One thing in the late modern games, say level 105 plus, is you become way weaker than the mobs out there. The mobs are just freakishly hard. They have too many hit points. You can't solo anymore. But in the early game, you know, you can solo. You're very, very powerful against the monsters. I mean, I've seen all sorts of characters solo out there, no problemo. And that's what I think people really, really want to see. Like Musical is saying, they want to have fun because it may not be as challenging, but it is fun. And that's why they play Classic, because Classic is it's a sandbox. You get freedom and you can have fun there. You go out there and, you know, nothing is too hard in Classic, you know, except corpse runs. And you go out and you have fun and you go there and you play and you have fun. But later on in the modern game, it can be a very frustrating experience, especially when we talk about the Burning Lands. As beautiful as some of the zones look, I got to agree that's probably one of the worst expansions that they came out with because it's locked behind progression and forced progression again. But, you know, the early game has it. So, yeah, make it fun. I totally agree. So, Larry, have you decided on what character you want to play?
No, not really. Not for 100%.
Okay. Okay, so we got a wizard. We got a monk. That's cool. Wonderful.
The needs of the guild usually dictate what I'll play because, as you know, I brought Musicles over, but he's been in mothballs since day one.
Mothballs.
Playing Dragorius, you know.
Well, Dragorius turned out to be a pretty good warrior. That's what's nice about it. Okay.
Well, my first warrior was named Dying Soon because I figured I'd play him for a while, then I'd delete him. And then his surname became Nevermind because I didn't kill him off right away. But then I did, and I made a Beast Lord, and I made a Shaman. I mean, I played different characters called Dying Soon, and then I left the game because I just got disgusted with the fact they took away Freeport from me. My characters, if they origined into there, would fall into the center of the world. That's just the way it works. Never could fix that. But when I came back, someone else had got Dying Soon. I don't know how, but I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, final one thing I want to go over is let's talk about let's go through this here. This is, I'm going to give you guys a look into what I found here, and this is, they're talking about what the focus group was doing out in back in January. They're talking about these TLP servers. You guys may have heard about it, but this is where Holly was saying, how do we keep it healthy? You know, they're talking about this stuff, bots. This is their big concern. And let's go down and just take a look at, you know, everybody's just saying blah, blah, blah. They're not saying a lot. You guys can see where it is, paste bin up here. You can go look at it if you want. They're talking about they're scared of hacks, things like MQ2. And let's go down to here a little bit. Let's see what they have to say. Here's Holly saying they're talking about dedicated customer service. That's what they're talking about here. And it goes all the way down. There's a couple interesting things in there, but you can kind of see most of the discussions about boxes and stuff like that. Here's what people say. Non-true backs is huge. Okay, agents change, huge. Quality of life is huge. Some guy here said coronavirus loot rules is negotiable but highly desirable. Absolutely, you know, that is the most popular server out there, so why not make another one like it? Raid tool update as well, says Valaxis. I love to see them make a pop newbie quests. That sounds good. And so let's go down, and it gives you guys a little preview and a peek at this here. It's all over out there, so you can see. This guy's talking about Rage Fire out here. You can see here, it's interesting here. And the other servers didn't come up. Talking about this kind of stuff. Let's see. They're talking about transfers. It might be a challenge. But she doesn't really commit to anything here. Just trying to see, but people aren't really giving these good ideas. If musicals or you guys were out there, you could really give some good ideas. Let's go down a little bit further. This is, you can see it's so long. Go ahead, somebody's saying something.
Well, you know, they always talk about having another Freeport or a Furnivi server. Well, they made one, Breck-It, and it choked. There's just nobody on it. They're free loot rules, just like Furnivi. So it's hard saying whether it's all that popular or not.
Why do you think it choked so much?
I don't know. It's so bad now that they're going to fold it over into Furnivi.
Yeah. Well, when did they make Breck? Did it come out later?
Well, they originally started it out as a special server doing something or other, and at the end of it, they just let it roll. But it's been out quite a while.
That's weird. I really wonder if anybody out there in the chat knows why Breck flopped so much. It would be good to hear. Okay, so here's what thing she says. At the same time as this, sir, I want to launch a true box, which I have dedicated CS. That's what Holly Windsoccer is saying with the rule. So this was her idea all along. So that's why it came out, but they quickly changed her rules. Okay, here's another one. Guys, mitigation of the mighty buff. What do you guys think about that? Mighty buff. Do you want them to get rid of it, or do you want them to keep it?
Well, if I was playing it Mage, I'd want them to get rid of the doggone thing.
I'll tell you what I think. No matter what, I think they should get rid of mitigation of mighty, because all it does is it just favors the big guilds. You know, I want it to be so the little guys can get and they can raid Nagafin. What the heck, if you can raid him with a couple groups, you know, that's fine. You know, it's I don't know why they don't want to do that, but that's what I think of. Yeah, okay, CI. Yeah, I say get rid of mitigation and mighty. It's a big pooper. Even when we were back on Celos, by the time I was still on there in Omens of War, they still had mitigation and mighty on Nagafin. It's like, why? Because we're not even going to go back and hunt this garbage, you know, so why even keep it on it? But they kept it on them. And so anyway, let's go down a little bit more. Let's see what Holly says here. We will attempt to disallow boxing or suggest it more than 3. They're still wrestling with the boxing idea here. And then it's just like people are just saying TLP for MQ2. Let's go down here. She does say more. She's really looking for more. She will accept any dissertations in any form. She wants more input, but people are just talking about this stuff. Maybe they're just afraid to get her mad or something, and say, "Give me my FV loot rules with PvP on top of it."
See, the other thing they nerfed really bad in the original game, the wizards were a real powerhouse with mana burn, and they corrupted that. So if you're going to go back and make this like the original game, they ought to go back and change all the rules so it was like what it was in 2000 or whatever.
Yeah, it's P99 there. Okay, guys, I got a question for everybody in the
You
Discord.
can even
everybody
look
out
at
there.
your notebook all day.
Oh yeah, that one I can't. I don't want to do that one anymore. Guys, for everybody out there, Discord and out in the chat, what do you think about corpse runs? Now they have them on P99. I used to play P99, and it is another game. It's like there's the game of EverQuest and then a game of corpse runs. So how do you guys feel about a new server with corpse runs? What would you think?
I gotten so used to not having to do that anymore. I actually like not having to do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree.
Like-
I remember back in the day, you would half of your time would be either getting to where you needed to go or going back to get your corpse, and that was like, as an adult, I don't have that much time.
That's right. You got one death and a corpse run.
Yeah, or you're going back to get your first, then your second, and third, and fourth corpse from the other corpse runs that didn't work out too well.
I don't know where I stand. Go ahead, Cass.
Well, I can remember when losing a corpse in the snow and Everfrost after being feared into God knows where was just a death knell. It was just easier to delete the character and start over rather than look for something you'd never find.
Well, you have the Shadow Knight or Necro find your corpse.
You ever find one of those up in Everfrost?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're usually hanging out in the warmer areas drinking Mai Tais. The heck with that snowbound country.
Guys, I'm kind of thinking, like now you got the Overseer game, which is like poop in a way after they nerfed it. But, the corpse run, it really did bring back that experience. Now, I don't know if I'd really like it or not, but, it would be kind of interesting. Like, okay, let's say they made Rizlona or one of the servers really good, but then they said, but you got to have corpse runs in there. Like, what if they put corpse runs on Mangler? You know how popular Mangler is? They could scare away a few people, and then they could have, I don't know, something. But I just think corpse runs, not that I really want to do it again, but it was something that I always remember. When I think back to EQ, I always think back to, damn, I remember that night doing a corpse run, and I was just like in Lower Guck, and it wasn't a matter of when I was going to die, but where I was going to die. I tried to run and die right in the middle of an area so I knew where to find it. Like, if you died near a wall, you could end up in the wall and you never get your corpse out, or you never find it at all, which is interesting.
Well, nothing more fun than having the whole guild dead in fear than having to try to re-break fear with no gear.
Yeah, that's right. Naked
Yeah.
break. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I used to call raid wipes getting naked together. That was my term for it.
Getting naked together. That's funny. But they did add a challenge to it. What if they gave you test server like experience but said corpse run? What about that, guys?
I'll stay on
Then you
test.
do a happy medium on the corpse one. Like if you die, your corpse is there for like 24 hours. You got 24 hours to get it, or it'll show up in another place, and then you can go it there. But it locks you out, so you have the choice to either do it or not play for a day.
Yeah, Zizzy, there you go. You're going to be one of their new producers. They could use your talent. That would be cool. Get it now or else.
Just log into an alt, wait for it to spawn where it's supposed to spawn.
Wow, that would be something else. Okay, so once again, Larry's not sure what he's going to play. We got Shadow One playing a mage. Musical's not sure yet. We've got Kaz going to play a monk and a shaman. I'm going to do the enchanter, the cleric. Zizi's going to be a wizard. I may make another wizard. I know what Bosha is going to be. Bosha is going to be a wizard probably because he loves the wizard and he's good at it. So he'll be doing that. Musicals may be a bard or something else. I don't know yet.
No
How-
tank.
A tanking character.
Yeah. So we needed tanks. Well, monk can tank, that's for sure. And classic, which is going to be just wild. The monk can pull and tank and pretty much do it all. Just tear everything to bits, naked, in fact. So that'll be kind of cool. And we'll see what Larry's going to play. We have a couple other players that are out there. I don't know what Corbin said. He's going to play a shaman out there. Ranger's going to be CL. Yeah. So guys, it's been a good any thoughts you guys have out in the chat, and any thoughts you guys hear, any questions here? Oh, well, I forgot who to ask. Mark said he's going to do some trade skills. But Mark, what character are you going to play? What do you want to play?
Well, I really don't. I don't know for sure. I don't really have enough information about what people are going to want to be able to decide.
Well, you have a group of this. Okay, I can tell you what people are going to want. I can tell you right away. People are going to want clerics. They're going to want the monk. The monk is just badass. So they're going to want the monk. They're going to want the cleric.
I was thinking like gear-wise, good stuff. What I'd be making.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
If you could make banded, get up to where you can make banded right off, you're going to make some seriously good money.
There you
because
go,
every plate class wears banded for at least the first 15, 20 levels.
Yep. There, you're so right. I knew a guy on Agnar. He said he's just a banded machine, just cranking out banded. And he did pretty good too. He made a lot of money.
Yeah,
so
but if
maybe
they release
dwarf cleric would be a good thing.
If they release Defiant into the game at the beginning,
not on the TLPs.
That's right, Defiant.
That would kill the blacksmithing trade skill.
Oh, that's funny.
The two best classes for clerics, if you're going to be around the Freeport area, is going to be the Dark Elf, because he's got hide, and he's can also do a quest for a snare item, neck item, on a pretty low level, or the Halfling cleric, who can hide and sneak, and levels to 5% faster.
Yeah, it's really good because the Dark Elf has See Inviso, which is nice. But after seeing the Halfling, I'm wondering if I can do it. But here's the catch, guys. The big catch is if you play anything if the load on the server is too much, you probably won't be able to zone for a couple hours or so like that. And that's going to be a real issue if you can't zone at all and get into the other zone. So you'll be trapped wherever you are. So the Halfling, what happened on Cornab is we had the same problem. So the guy that we had from the UK that was the Halfling guy, he got out into Misty Thicket, and he was just like the owner of Misty Thicket with his cleric and his warrior. And they moved all the way up, so it was pretty good. But I think, you got to think about that too, because if you're the Dark Elf, I played a Dark Elf on Celis, or no, it's Mangler, and I got trapped in Neriak, and I didn't get out till the next day. It was that bad. There's so many Dark Elves, and we got trapped there. So that's another thing to think about is, will you get trapped on the first day? Will you get stuck and all that? But I think the Halfling cleric will be really good, just because what I saw with the experience gain is it does make a difference. The humans will get a really good jump, but can they really zone out of Freeport without crashing multiple times? And then after that, then where are they going to go? So yeah, good thoughts there.
But the dwarf cleric gets a beer necklace.
What's a beer necklace do?
Summons Brell's Blessed Stout.
Oh, that's nice. The dwarf is good too, but if you start with the dwarf, the whole team will probably be in Freeport, I'm thinking. Unless you guys want to start somewhere else, or we vote to start over in Greater Fadark. So yeah, we got to talk a little bit about the where you're going to start and all that. I think maybe I'll make the Halfling cleric, but I got to make the enchanter. So the Dark Elf enchanter is a good size. I mean, of course, in my opinion, the best cleric out there. I played the High Elf cleric, and that one had the best stats out of all of them. But it was really weak; it couldn't carry a lot, but it was pretty good. Just because stats actually do matter in Classic, which I think is really nice, because in the modern game, stats don't really mean a whole lot. You could have this stat and that, but they're all the same at the end because everybody caps out. but early game stats really make a difference. So erudite classes are going to be really strong for casters, but then they're going to be stuck over there in the second worst newbie zone ever, Toxilula, whatever it is called. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm still thinking about it, and this is what's fun about these TLPs, of what we're going to be, what we're going to start, and where we're going to meet up, and who's going to play how many hours and what. I know a lot of you guys out there on lockdown, and we still will probably be locked down by the time May 27th comes around, depending on where you are. So it's going to give a lot of us free time to play. And man, they should have come out with this server about a month ago. And just imagine if this came out in March or something like that. Wow. I mean, everybody has so much time to play, and everybody's still got some money, and we could still play, and think how popular this would be. But yeah, so good thoughts. Any other thoughts, guys? Yep, short races do have. I always use the short races because of better camera angles. Aether wave, that's right. Okay, so anything else, guys?
I might make a dwarf army, except can't do it with a bard though.
Yeah,
that's what stinks.
Yeah.
And the elves are better as bards because of dex.
Yeah. Okay. So, but what about human bard? If you're going to start on the other side, you got to make it through Oceans of Tears without crashing on day one.
Yeah, good luck at that too. Well, that's better than a half elf. So
yeah.
But I'll probably do a human bard, and then the second character will be like a dwarf warrior or dwarf paladin.
Okay, so here's what Aetherwave says: half elf bard can start in Freeport. What about that, musicals?
Yeah, but they're kind of ugly characters. They kind of have this look about them like, I'm better than you. But nobody likes half elves. If you think about it, they're not elves. They're not humans. They're mongrels.
They're mongrels.
They're just superior, and they know it.
Oh gosh, that's funny. Mongrels. Oh, that's hilarious, guys. Well, guys, here's what we're gonna do. This has been a good podcast. We're gonna also, if guys here, Zizzy, how long are you gonna be up tonight?
Say what?
Are you gonna? Do you have to work tomorrow?
You're breaking up, man. I can barely hear you.
Do you have to work tomorrow?
No, I don't have to work tomorrow.
Okay, so tonight we're gonna, after this podcast ends, we're gonna start another stream, and we're gonna do one of the missions or one of the quests out in the Burning Land. So if you guys are interested in that, hang around, put the notification bell on so you see the next one come up, or else you can watch it tomorrow. 99% of the people watch the live streams later, and so absolutely, guys, it's been good hanging out with everybody and talking about it. Thanks for giving me input out there from the chat and from the Discord. I always love to talk about this before it starts. We never get this chance to talk about it. And then what happens is we got to get out there. And then when we get out there, it's just a big scramble. But it's cool to talk about it beforehand. Then when we get out there, we know what we're going to do. And it's a lot of fun. But it'll be a great experience. Like people have said, experience that you only get once a year. Now it's once a year. And back in Agnar, said it's like a once in a lifetime or twice in a lifetime, but it's a once in a year thing, like the Super Bowl. I've got to say, there's a lot of craziness and excitement on the first day. First live stream, if it holds up and we can get going, will be a 0-hour live stream. It'll be a long one. I don't know, maybe 8-10 hours like I've done before. People would drop in, drop out. I'm going to try to keep it going as long as possible. They're a lot of fun. It's the biggest EQ event in the whole year. Forget all the expansion pack. Forget Miracle server and all that stuff. This is where it's going to be at. So we'll see you guys then. And no practice run this year because we know what we're going to, probably you can look at the old practice runs as to what we did and you'll get an idea what's probably going to happen. So see y'all out there, and thanks for watching. Remember, stay tuned for the Burning Lands. I hope it's not too late for my group here, but nobody has to work tomorrow. See y'all on Aradune or Rizlona. We'll let you know where we're going to be. See you then.